All right, welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Besties. I'm Joey Troxel.
I'm Debbie Chu.
And Deb, we left off last time. We explained the three kind of different ways that we're all kind of eating in the vegan world.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wanted to talk about some facts we wanted to show you to help you understand where we came from. So I'm just going to throw some things on the screen here, right?
Okay.
I'm going to put up Cronometer. So let me see if I can share my screen here. All right, Deb, here's what I've done, right? I've just thrown some things based on the way we used to eat and the way we eat now, right? So if you look at the first thing, now I've had to put them in different meal categories so it totals all of the macros.
Right.
So pinto beans, right? How many times have we been told you get all the protein you need from, beans are a great source of protein. So if you do, pinto beans, right? In order to get, I'm basing this on about 140 grams of protein, right?
Okay.
In order to get 140 grams of protein in pinto beans, you would have to eat 72.30 ounces, which is 12 cups of whole pinto beans, right?
Right.
And you would get 143 grams of protein. So that's my protein for the day, but at a cost of 2,339 calories. Now, and all I would have gotten, right, is my, I guess I've gotten a lot of fiber, right, with 12 cups of beans.
Right.
A lot of carbohydrates, right? 415 grams of carbohydrates.
Yeah.
But that, I would, if you're not, my daily requirement for calories, I'm small, is like, 1,500. It's not 2,339. I would have a calorie surplus of, 900 calories or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's kind of scary, right?
Yeah. Now, of course, you're not going to just eat beans all day, but this is just to illustrate what we're talking about.
Yeah, because you would have to eat a lot of beans to get enough protein, right? Because there's just not enough protein in them. So, and the carbohydrates cause a lot of calories. Let's look at lentils. Same thing with lentils, right? You would have to have 20 ounces of lentils, and I'm converting it on my end here, which is 3 whole cups of dry lentils, by the way. This is lentils dry, which would turn it into 3 times the size. We're talking about 9 cups of lentils, right? And that would give you 142 grams of protein. And again, about 2,000 calories, right? Lentils aren't too bad. You can kind of eat a whole day worth of that's all you'd have, right? It's just lentils, right? The flaxseed, there's a lot of protein in seed. People say throw flax seeds in your shakes and all that. It has protein, and it does, but at a cost, right? So to get close to 140 grams of protein in flax seeds, I got 136 here. I'd have to have, 3,800 calories worth, right? Which is 26 ounces, and the conversion for that in tablespoons is 72 tablespoons.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But do you see, people should be able to see now that I don't know. I don't have a calorie range every day of 3,800 calories, and I don't know who does, unless you're like a weightlifter, an Olympic weightlifter.
Yeah, if you're like the strongest man in the world, then yeah, you're going to eat that much or more probably, but not for the regular person.
Here's the killer, right? The starch solution, the potatoes. So we've been told, go back and eat as many potatoes as you want, right? Well, you can do that, all right? If you wanted to get enough protein every day, right? Let's say you're doing the Mary's Menu where you're just eating potatoes that day, right? That's it, right? And you have to get enough protein because you're working out. You're getting 140 grams of protein. That would be 200 ounces of potatoes or 19 large potatoes. 19 at 5,200 calories.
Right.
That is a lot of potatoes and a lot of calories. So the idea that you could go back and eat as much as you want, right? Potatoes they're low in calories if you're just having potatoes, but you're not getting enough protein. If you have to use them to get protein, they're not a protein source.
It's right.
Yeah, the idea is that these foods by themselves are not really high in calories, but they're not sources of protein.
Exactly.
Which is why we're still eating them with sources of protein.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then I threw in my seitan recipe here, right? If I wanted to get 143 grams of just seitan, which I don't want to do, I want to mix my proteins, but let's just say I do that. I can literally do that, spend 743 calories, and then have another, 800 calories left where I wouldn't have to worry about my protein and can wolf down salads and all sorts of stuff.
Right.
So you can see how that makes more sense.
Exactly.
Because so what are your thoughts on this?
No, this is a great illustration because I was of that thinking that I could just eat beans and lentils, and I wasn't counting calories. So obviously, I went over my calories because I wasn't. I got to the point where I couldn't lose weight, and I actually started gaining weight. And
I
this is
think
why.
the idea of tracking like this, whether it be this or MyFitnessPal or whatever it is
Right.
that you do, that shows you how crazy some of these ideas are if you take them to extremes. I love the Starch solution. I love all these programs, but we know that people easily go over the top with them, and it's like do or die, right?
Right.
And when that happens, we start losing the focus of eating healthy or incorporating these foods, but it's still moderation. You still need the protein also. So,
and what some of the die-hard starch solutionists forget is that if you read the starch solution, Dr. McDougall includes tofu.
right.
It's in his book. Even though he says starch-based, blah, 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 he doesn't really focus on protein. So tofu is not like the devil. I mean, so, yeah.
He calls it, I guess, a yellow light food, right?
Yeah.
Where it's a
Yeah, I
little
think
higher in
that's
fat, fat and
a little
protein.
higher in fat, but but he
So
was,
I think the issue with the starch solution is they stay away from protein because more protein means more calories, right? But when you have to include protein in your meal, you're going to have to take those calories where you can and just get them as low calories as possible. I don't know if they had seitan back then, but
oh, they did.
Did they really? All right.
Oh, yeah. That's been around for a while. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I think the way that we're eating now is more balanced.
Yeah.
And it's definitely more beneficial for our goals. Like we've said, if your goal is maybe you just walk every day and that's what you want to do, then, maybe you don't need as much protein. But definitely track to see what you're getting to start off.
So when you're tracking, it's amazing, right? But the food is half of it. The food coming in is half of it, right?
Right.
You really have to have enough calories being burned going out, right? So, like I tie my Apple Watch to my chronometer.
Right.
So, and
That's
all day long, right? You do the same thing, right?
With my Fitbit.
Yeah. So we not only see what we've taken in calories, we also see what we burn. And the idea is to have either a maintenance, if you're maintaining your weight, is to have a balance, right? Or a deficit if you're trying to burn fat.
Right. Exactly.
So why is it so hard then to convince people of this who are like stuck on this thing going, oh, it's a sad day that you're eating higher protein?
I know. I don't know. And when I was into the starch solution big time, and I would hear people say this, I'd be like, no, I get plenty. Right. No, I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't worry about it. And then when I started feeling no energy, all this gaining weight, and then I started tracking, I'm like, maybe they have something to that. Maybe they're right. And just the thermogenic effect of burning the protein is higher than carbs or fat. So you burn more calories just digesting protein. Bonus.
Yes. So I think everyone in the starch solution or who's at least done that knows that fat is 9 calories per gram, right? And carbohydrates are 4 calories per gram, right? Mm-hmm. But what we're not really told, or what we don't know, is that it costs the body, like you just said, way more calories to burn protein than it does to burn the carbohydrates or the fat, right? And that is what you just said, the thermogenic effect of food. And I didn't know anything about that until I started lifting weights, right?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
So that's important because if you're eating something that's 100 calories, right? And the thermogenic effect for protein, I believe, is 30%, right?
I think, something like that.
So if you ate 100 calories of something you didn't want to eat, you wanted to, but you're like, oh, I feel guilty. Well, you burn 30% of it off. You burn 30 of those 100 calories, right? Just eating it. And you're like, oh, well, it was only 70. I'm fine, right?
Right.
Whereas if you had 100 calories of carbohydrates is a little, it's not as good, but it's like, I think, is it 10?
10? I think it's around 10.
you burn off 10 calories, and then fat, it's almost like, it's like 2, if it's even that, right?
Yeah.
So,
and as you're building your muscle, then that also increases your metabolism. So you're because muscle burns more calories than fat.
that's a whole nother issue about why short people are at a disadvantage, because
Right, I know.
we literally have less muscle than you do. So
Right.
we're starting out at like every calorie counts, right?
Right.
And you
I
guys,
get
you
that.
and Tim walking around with your muscle, right? Burning stuff off, right? Like, it's just not fair. I'm gonna do a
I'm
whole
not
video
that tall.
on that.
I'm
You are
5'6".
tall. You're taller than me. So the thermogenic effect of protein, I think when you understand all that, here's what changed it for me. Like you said, right? We were like of the mindset of, we get enough protein, right? And we did to survive. And I went to the trainer, and he said, you're going to need 140 grams of protein. I was like, 140 grams? What? And he's like, well, you're building muscle. Here's why. And when he explained that, I realized, and the minute you go to try to make your meals, because I make my meals in Cronometer before I make them, right? You probably do the same thing. What am I going to eat today? I'm going to put this together. Here's my day, right?
No, actually, I learned that from you.
Did you
When I
really?
watched
Yeah.
the video, I'm like, that's a great idea. So I do that now.
Yeah. So I pre-track every day. And when you start trying to figure out, well, none of these foods are getting me to 140 grams of protein, but they quickly got me to my 1,400 calories.
Yeah.
What the hell am I going to do? Like, I'm not going to start eating eggs. Like, what am I going to do? Right?
Right.
So that's where it all became like an epiphany. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to create all new recipes. Like, nothing I have is going to work. Right? Which is what happened. Right? And you probably had to do the same thing.
Right. That's so true. And anyone who wants to switch over to this, the way we're eating, go slow.
Yes.
Because I started out with like, okay, I'm going to shoot for 100. And I didn't always get there. But now I can get 125 like easy. I know I learned how to do it with the Cronometer. And so now I know what to eat. And I'm a mono eater, so I eat the same thing every day. I don't care.
Yeah. I think that is a really important aspect of coming up with a plan. If you're trying to maintain, or even if you're trying to have a calorie deficit, that was one of the things about Mary's Mini that I liked, right? You made the same food over and over again. There wasn't any variety. Because of it, you didn't look forward to meals. So it was boring, and you lost weight, right?
Right.
That's exactly what happened. There's something to that, right? Eating the same stuff every day, whatever it is, a high protein tofu or whatever. Last week we had that, by the time this comes out, I don't know when, but we did that high protein tofu, that fava bean tofu. That dish, it was like a protein bowl with the tofu in it. That dish was like, I don't know, almost 50 grams of protein for like 380 calories. It was crazy, and it was filling, right? That kind of thing is what you need to incorporate into your meals. And when it works, have it every day for like a week, right? Easy. Then you don't have, in Cronometer, you're just repeating the same things. And you don't even have to count every day's calories if you're eating the same thing.
Right. But it doesn't have to be boring.
No.
Just to say that.
No.
Because I've been eating my yogurt, and I made homemade yogurt. That's when the video today came out.
Yay!
I'm giving you all the credit too, by the way.
I'm texting you going, no, Deb, here's how I'm doing it.
I'm so excited about it. But I put protein powder, a few chocolate chips. I eat that every night. I've been eating that. I was using Kydil, but I mean, I'm not sick of it. It's so good. And every time I make it, my husband's like, okay, calm down. I'm like, I'm so excited. He's like, it's just yogurt. I'm like, I know, but it's so good.
Yeah. So Tim got on this yogurt kick. I'll be like, we just made yogurt. I'll go to bed, and 2 days later, I'm coming down the stairs in the morning, and the crock pot's out, or the Instant Pot's out, right? And it's got the yogurt thing on. I'm like, oh my gosh, are we making more yogurt? What happened to the other one, right? Like, did we go through all 6 already? Like, but we did. And then once you kind of understand the yogurt part of it, you're like, oh my gosh, this just opens me up to salad dressings and like pasta sauces and all sorts of stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on your potatoes as like sour cream. It's on my bagel. The possibilities are endless.
At our age, this is what we get excited about, right?
I know. So true.
On the yogurt recipe. So dealing with people who are just like us, who are staunch solution, we're just going to continue to do what we do. And if you don't want to follow us, that's absolutely okay, and we understand it because we were there, right?
Exactly. We get it. Mm-hmm.
But when you start feeling, I almost feel like it's almost like dealing with people who eat meat. When you tell them what you're doing, because they notice that you're not eating the same, so you tell them, and they're like, "Oh, well, what do you feel like you're better than everyone else? You're trying to save the environment?" And you're like, "No, I eat the environment. I'm not trying to save the environment, right? Well, what do you know? Why are you better than? I'm not better than you." And then they have like a heart attack a year later, and then they're like, "Hey, I need you to help me with some diet stuff," right? And you're just like, "Son of a." Right? Like, why didn't you listen? I always feel like it's the same thing dealing with people in our own community, right? Where they have to realize at some point, oh my gosh, like I can't even get off the couch. What's wrong with me? Right? And we're all going to go to doctors, even plant-based doctors, and they're going to be like, you need to up your protein, right? And they're going to be like, I get it.
Yep. I mean, we're all going to age, so it's coming, so you might as well prepare.
I know that it's tough because there are doctors saying that you don't need protein as you get older. It's all a farce, right? And it's tough because some of these doctors I really respect. Like, they've got great ideas. I followed them for a long time. But we just have to be careful. Like, there's information on the internet to prove that the earth is flat, right? If you're looking for that, there it is, right? It can be proven. So we really have to look at, there's a lot of information for everyone, and what really follows the path that we're going down. Like, is this about aging? Is this about like muscle problems and all that? Where is this person in their life? Are they an older person? Like, have they had aging problems yet? Like, I don't know. So there's so much information on the internet. One of the things I don't like about doctors or visiting doctors is that, like, if you're overweight and you go to the doctor, they go, all right, you need to get on a better diet and eat better. Well, what should I do? Well, I don't know, but you need to eat better.
Right.
Okay, well, now I'll ask Dr. Google, right? And we'll figure it out, right? Like, you now become an expert, and then next thing you know, your friend's doing carnivore or something crazy like that, and then they have a heart attack. And you're like, what? So that's kind of an issue right there, don't you think?
Right.
So one interesting thing happened in my classroom. They were having a career day, and this lady came in for one of the other clubs, and she's, I guess, a dietitian. And they asked to use my classroom because they needed a place for her. So I said, okay. So I'm getting ready to leave, and I look, and she's got Plant You, Carly Bojo's book, out, and a bunch of plates with, and I go, I stopped, right? Of course, right? I put everything down on my bags. I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to talk. I need to know everything about you. So I said, are you a vegan? And she was like, no, I'm a dietitian or a nutritionist. And she goes, but I promote a plant-forward way of eating, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And she's in a primary care office. So we're starting to see primary care physicians have nutritionists in their office.
That's nice.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, so I guess if you are with us on this journey, then that's kind of how we're eating and how we got there and why we got there. I hope you don't have to learn the way we did because something was starting to go wrong, right? I hope you can just see this and go, yeah, I'm kind of there too with you guys. I'm going to do this also. But if not, I mean, I definitely understand, and you'll get there at some point. So,
yeah, we waited way too long.
Yes, I agree.
We really did, but
I agree.
All right. Slow learners.
Yeah, we are. Just like everyone else, we're like, no, I don't need that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
We have to learn the hard way. All right, if you're looking for some recipes, Deb has a new e-cookbook out, which I need to do too. There's a link in the description below. I'm so lazy on that. I got to get it done.
It takes time. It's a lot. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Everything in my life is a lot of work. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a link in the description below where you can click on that and contribute to Deb's channel by buying the book. If you are following us, we are on Plant-Based Dads for me, Joey Troxel, and Chew on Vegan for Deb, W. And you can see all our videos there. Yep. All right. Well, listen, that's our video for this month. Click on that like button, click on subscribe, and leave a comment below. What do you want them to comment this time? Okay.
If you've made it this far in the video, comment below with protein for the win, or you could do PFTW.
Oh, I like it.
And that way we know you made it to the end with us. And we really appreciate your support because we're trying to spread the word out there. So share the videos and watch to the end.
All right. We'll see you next time.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.